Okay, good morning. Hands in Chin Mudra. So preferably we'll sit in Sukhasana today. Hands in Chin Mudra and back straight. And let's chant three Omkara. Om is A, U and Ma. Mm. Mm. So we'll start with the Sukshma Vyayam first. So instead of going top to up, we'll go from up to down. So rotate your eyeballs, and then make sure you look at all the directions, keeping the neck straight. About 3 to 4 times in one direction, and then change the eyeball direction. Keep the neck fixed. Next, neck rotation, but move the neck up. Back is straight. Head forward. On the left, right. Again on the left. Now complete rotations. Now we'll bring the breathing pattern in. So we'll add inhale as we raise up, exhale as we bring it down. So go slow, 3 times each side, each direction. Opposite. Now we'll do the shoulder. So inhale, one side inhale, the other side is exhale. Next, extend your arms out and put the palms straight. And then inhale as you raise up and exhale as you bring it down. Palms down. While breathing, let's try to bring the Ujjayi pranayam in. Ujjayi breathing is, so the way it is done is you narrow down or put a pressure on your epiglottis, so the throat region. So it becomes constricted, and then do in a slow inhale and slow exhale. So what it does is it makes your mind focus on that pressure point, and then it puts a lot of pressure. So your breathing slows down automatically because your air windpipe has reduced in size, and then your mind also gets focused. So, and that's where the breathing is not very uh, the sound of the breath is not very clear, but you see a hissing sound. So the moment you hear a hissing sound, it means that you're doing a pranic breathing or a Ujjayi pranayam. So little pressure here. One way is put a pressure and then pull your neck a little forward. So if you pull your neck a little forward and put a pressure, you'll get it. This is one of the an example. So next we'll do the elbows. So inhale and exhale. So as you raise up, it's inhale, and as you raise down, it's bring it down, it's exhale. So start from here. Opposite direction. So next is the twists on the sides. So twist on both the sides and then get the stretch. So it's a free twist. So first couple of stretches we will go slow and then hold ourselves in that position and then try to stretch. So ideally take your left hand to start with and put it exactly behind the mid of your back, and then try to put your right hand and then stretch from the lower waist and then also the entire thing. So take your left hand, put it exactly behind your mid back and twist. Pose it. One more round of simple stretch. Now we'll do fast-paced twists. One, two, sitting in the Sukhasana itself, we'll do Bhu Namo Namaha and then do the twists. So sit and then with both the hips seated on the ground, try and touch your forehead to the ground on each side. So the next asana, if preferably if we can go in Padmasana, it would be good. If not, then Sukhasana is also okay. So raise your hand again. Exhale as you go down and inhale as you come up. Twist on the side. Normal breathing. So next we will go for some standing exercises. Again, standing exercises are we'll do Malasana, basically some twists, and then we'll come to the Malasana series. Raise it. Stand up in a comfortable position. Toes together, and then big twists. Try to get the biggest twist circles possible. Opposite. Spread your legs and we'll go for basic Trikonasana. Hands on the side. Hands on the side and bend forward. Keep the back straight. Looking forward. Now slowly put your hands, tie your hands in the back and keep looking forward. Whenever comfortable, raise up. Hands still locked in the back. Take a breath in and as you exhale, bend forward. Hands down all the way to the toes and neck down. Stay there for about 15 to 20 seconds. Feel the stretch that your body is getting. Stand up. Now we'll do the regular Trikonasana. Regular Trikonasana is one hand touching the other toe and the other hand goes up. So the trick of doing this Trikonasana is whenever you're doing the asana, keep the shoulders straight. So the normal tendency is the shoulders get twisted when we turn, but instead focus on your shoulders. The body automatically sets itself correctly. So make sure your focus is on the shoulders. The shoulders are straight. They're not together, compressed or expanded. So keep them optimally straight and try to move your hands. So hands out. Align your shoulders. Make them straight, parallel to the ground, and then twist yourself a bit. Keep your focus on the shoulders. Automatically down, up. Again, a bit of twist. Bend down, up. The last thing that we will do in the standing asanas before the malasana is samakonasana, dvikonasana, and then finally we'll do another variation of trikonasana. So toes together, comfortably standing. Make sure your entire foot is rested on the ground, but your toes are locked together. Not locked, but next to each other. Toes are touching each other, and your entire foot is comfortably placed. Keep your body straight, look straight. Try to pull your hands down and your neck up. A perfect 180-degree. Hands are being pulled down, neck is being pulled up. Next, bend from your waist and keep the hands down. Keep the back straight. If we do it on the side, keep the back straight. Look straight. And slowly fold your hands and let your body settle down. It gives an extremely good stretch. If you're comfortable, release your hands and let it hang. If possible, go and touch your hands to the feet. Slowly raise your body up, make a perfect 90-degree, and then hands go all the way up in the back. And then again, ideally, they make 90-degree. So it is Dvikonasana. So there are two angles made by the body, one at the waist and one at the junction of shoulders. Slowly bring it back. And then we'll go to the Malasana. So comfortably spaced legs, and then slowly go down into Malasana, the squatting position. Place yourself comfortably. Put the elbow in between the kneecaps, tip of the elbow in between the kneecaps, and then get the stretch. And then slowly Malu Namaskar. Next, Kashta Takshakasana. Pretend there is a wooden block and you're hitting it with the hammer. Slowly looking at your thumbs. And then Rajju Akarshan. So pulling a rope, make sure you're looking at your hands. And then get the stretch. And sit down. We'll do one round of Surya Namaskar, as in not 30, but we'll do about 3 to 4 times Surya Namaskar to get the stretch in the body. Hands straight. Om Mitraya Namaha. Slowly raise up. Go slow, but make sure you go into the poses correctly. Shishakasana. Ashtanga Namaskar. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Parvatasana. Ashwasanchalan. We'll do couple of more rounds. Om Ravaye Namaha. Last round. Om Suryaya Namaha. Go slow. Let us go down and in the seated position. And we'll start the practice of pranayam. So to start with the breathing practices, we'll start with Kapalbhati. The reason why we start with Kapalbhati is when it fires up, so it's a good warm up exercise in the morning, and then it saturates your body with the oxygen supply. So Kapalbhati is a quick exercise to give body enough oxygen and at the same time charge up. So preferably in Sukhasana, uh, so that it's a long-lasting posture. But if you're extremely comfortable, you can go into Padmasana and stay there for some time. But Sukhasana is the preferred asana. And hands, you can pick and choose the mudra because each mudra activates or generates energy at one junction point. That is, it activates one of the chakras. So pick any comfortable mudra. I'm picking Gadha Mudra, Bhim Mudra this time, and then do the Kapalbhati. But feel free to pick Chin Mudra also, which is most commonly used. So 20 strokes of Kapalbhati. So when you're doing Kapalbhati, make sure your body is stiff. The upper part of the body is straight. It is not bent. The shoulders are straight, back is straight, neck is straight, and it's not moving. So when you breathe in and breathe out, let neck not move, but let the keep the neck straight. Let's do one more round of Kapalbhati, 20 strokes. Feel that your breath is slowing down. Experience that. One more round of Kapalbhati, and at the end of the Kapalbhati, when we pause for about 5-10 seconds, feel that your body is not breathing. So we'll talk about that process as we go further. So do 20 strokes of Kapalbhati, this time with complete exhalation, complete force. Focus on your breath. It must have slowed down. So we'll start with our exercise practices on Kumbhaka. So to start Kumbhaka, let's do about 3 rounds of pranayam. So hands preferably in Chin Mudra, sitting in comfortable position, and then alternate nostril Anulom Vilom pranayam. 3 rounds. So take one count of inhale and then extremely slow exhale. So to start with Kumbhaka, Kumbhaka is basically process where we don't inhale or exhale, no movement of breath. I think we spoke about it last week when we were doing the asana practices. So again, as we spoke, there are 2 types of Kumbhaka. Bahya Kumbhaka, on a high level, 2 types, Bahya and Antar Kumbhaka. Bahya Kumbhaka is where the breath is not inside the body. The breath is outside the body. That means there is no air inside the body. Antah Kumbhaka is where the breath or the air is inside the body and it's not moving in and out. So the locking of your breath, the process of no inhale and exhale is Kumbhaka. So now to talk about the advantages of Kumbhaka, the textbook examples in your textbook advantages of Kumbhaka is it helps you regenerate your stem cells. It helps you put a lot of control on your blood pressure, and the other advantages which are not directly evident is it clears your gut system. So your gut related diseases like diabetes and other diseases which are mostly gut related also get cured. So now there is Kumbhaka is not taught in the early stages of pranayam, but it's one of the advanced stages of pranayam. So it is taught towards the end of the pranayam. The reason being, Kumbhaka being done by itself without proper instructions or proper guidance is very dangerous to the body because it shoots up the blood pressure. There is a sudden spike in the blood pressure of the body, and then I mean it's not fatal, but there is suddenly a variation in the blood pressure. But if done in a right way, it's very soothing and it actually calms your blood pressure down and it cleans your gut system. So the right way of doing Kumbhaka is anytime there is a Kumbhaka, Anta Kumbhaka or Bahaya Kumbhaka, it's always done in a Bandha. So it is said that any pranayama practices don't start without a Bandha. So even as we are sitting now and talking, the ideal way is to go into a Bandha. Mula Bandha is a given Bandha everyone should be doing. It is said that when you're sitting down, even at work, try to go in the Mulbandha. Mulbandha is a given bandha. So keep doing Mulabandha whenever you're sitting. Every, once in a couple of minutes, do for a few seconds and then release the bandha. So what Mulabandha does is it puts a upward thrust on your body and make sure when you're doing bandha, you're doing in a Kumbhaka state. So there is either an air in or an air out. So that is the prerequisite for any Kumbhaka. That body has to be in one of the bandhas. Ideally, all the bandhas in the right way, but at least one of the bandha. So it is like it's a digestive tract, and then there's a respiratory system, and then there is a there's a heart, and then there's a which is a part of a central nervous system. So what happens when we are doing the bandha is that the digestive tract is closed from the bottom and from the top and gets pressurized from both sides. So when that happens, there is a lot of pressure on your digestive tract. Because there is a lot of pressure on your digestive tract, the digestive tract, what happens is a lot of your respiratory or air that you breathe in gets used to hold this pressure or fight your body against this pressure. So other parts of your body, your nervous system, the amount of blood supply it gets reduced. And suddenly when you release the bandha, there is a sudden surge in the blood because heart is generating more blood because your body is not getting the blood. And when you release the bandha, there's a surge in the blood supply and that increases the blood pressure. So this is done when the bandha is not done. But when you do the bandha, what happens is your digestive tract get constricted, so the air doesn't move. So when the air doesn't move in your body, everything gets stabilized. The side advantages of doing the bandha when you're doing Kumbhaka is your lungs activity slows down because when the air doesn't go in and out, your lung activity slow down. So it is one of the asanas for the lungs also. And eventually, when you keep doing more and more pranayam and more Kumbhaka pranayam, your blood pressure also goes down, your heart rate also goes down. So everything comes back in normal when it's done in the right combination. So we'll start doing Kumbhaka, but before that, we'll start understanding the right way of doing bandha. And then once we'll practice the three bandhas and then the Mahabandha, which is a combination of all the three, and then we'll go into the Kumbhaka. So since we are wanted to do the Kumbhaka, we started with Kapalbhati and some Anulom Viram Pranayam so that the body gets saturated with oxygen. So let's start with Kumbhaka. We'll start with Bandha. We'll start with Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is the breath is ideally exhale. The body doesn't have a breath. When you completely exhale, put the pressure from the bottom. So suck your anus up, both the front and the back holes, suck them in and put a lot of upward pressure. And the air is not contained inside, so it's completely the entire respiratory tract is void of air. So completely exhale first, and then let's put the pressure from the bottom. Exhale completely and put the pressure from the bottom. One more round, exhale and put the pressure from the bottom, pull it up. Only the bottom. Exhale. And pull it up. The ideal way or the right steps of doing the bandha is, first is Moola Bandha. Uh, first is Jalandhar Bandha. So Jalandhar Bandha is your uh, upper part of the track gets closed. So the right way of doing Jalandhar Bandha is pull your neck forward, keep the neck straight, pull it forward so much that automatically your neck gets locked. First exhale, pull it forward till it gets locked. And now touch the chin to the chest. Relax. So what happens when you pull your neck forward is there's automatic pressure on your neck and it gets locked. And then you touch the chin to the chest, it gets completely locked. So there is no way air can go in and out. So that's where the bandha comes in. So we'll do one more time the Jalandhar bandha. Exhale completely. Pull your neck forward. Lock it and then bend it. So the next variation in bandha is Uddiyana bandha. Uddiyana bandha is the last of the bandhas. So the Uddiyana bandha is below your belly button and above your groin. So that small region below your belly button and above the groin is where the Uddiyana bandha comes in. So again, exhale completely. So if you look at the digestive system, it is the esophagus, the small intestine, and then the anus or the rectum. So to for the anus or the rectum, it is the Moola bandha which puts pressure on the anus or the part, and then the esophagus part is the Jalandhar bandha. But for the intestine, it is the Uddiyana bandha. So exhale completely and try to press your the part of your body which is below your belly button and above your groin region. So completely exhale. Put pressure on it. Again exhale. Put pressure on the lower groin. So these are the three bandhas. First comes your Jalandhar bandha, and then the Mula bandha when you're breathing in, and then the Udiyan bandha is the last one. And while releasing, Udiyan bandha gets released first, Mula bandha gets released next, finally the Jalandhar bandha. So when we're doing Kumbhaka, let's do the Anta Kumbhaka first, and then we'll go to the Bahya Kumbhaka. So when you're doing Kumbhaka, make sure when you breathe in and when you're saturated with oxygen, you do your Jalandhar bandha, that is pull your neck forward, lock it, and then next do the Mula bandha, put the pressure from the bottom up, and when you are sure that you have locked it from both the sides, then put the pressure from the middle. That is your Udiyan bandha. But please make sure you don't breathe in and out. And when you're doing the Kumbhaka, when you're holding your air in, make sure there is a bandha in your body. At least one of the bandhas. Ideally all three, but at least one. So let's continue with the pranayam with the bandha. So completely exhale, and as you inhale, after you inhale, let's go to the bandha. Inhale. And then Jalandhar bandha. Mula bandha. Udiyan bandha. You feel sudden burst of oxygen or blood that goes into your brain gets completely compressed and then completely relaxed. So this is one of the advantages of it. We'll do it one more time. This is the Anta Kumbhaka. Inhale slowly. Jalandhar bandha. Mula bandha. Udiyan bandha. We'll continue with this bandha series. We still have about 10 minutes. We'll continue with the bandha series and do one round of Bahya Kumbhaka. That is, exhale completely and try to hold no breath in. And again, when we are exhaled, we'll do all the three bandhas. Take a breath in and slowly exhale. When your body is void of air, get into the Jalandhar bandha to start with. Mula bandha, Udiyan. Relax. We'll do it one more time. Exhale completely. Udiyan bandha, Jalandhar bandha. உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஊட்டி. So then this is Antah Kumbhaka and Bahya Kumbhaka. There is a very natural process called Keval Kumbhaka. What Keval Kumbhaka is, it's a very natural process and it's compared equivalent to the Samadhi position. So when we did Kapalbhati, a lot of times our body naturally did not breathe. So that is a natural process where your body is so saturated with oxygen that your respiratory system, your brain tells your respiratory system to not breathe anymore. So that stage where involuntarily you don't breathe is Keval Kumbhaka, where you're not forcing your body to do what you want, but your body itself realizes that it doesn't need the breath. So that stage is Keval Kumbhaka. And that is a stage, it is told that your body should be able to get into that stage and stay in that stage for few minutes. So Antah Kumbhaka and Bahya Kumbhaka are very old historically documented practices. The documented Antah Kumbhaka has been about 12,000 years ago, during the war of Mahabharata, when Duryodhana at the final day when he gets agitated and he gets into a water, into a river nearby, and then stays there for about few hours only till Bhima calls him out. So when he goes into the water, he gets into the Kumbhaka stage. He gets into the Antah Kumbhaka stage, that and then gets into the water and stays there for few hours. So that is the amount of meditation or amount of practice that Duryodhana had done throughout his life, that he could go into the water and stay there for few hours. That is why it is told that even though he was in water, there were no air bubbles going on the surface, because he had held the Kumbhaka stage. So that comes with a lot of practice, a lot of pranayama and meditational practice. So, and it's not everyone's game to do so much of Kumbhaka. So, we might not be as good as Duryodhana was in Kumbhaka, but at least we can do few seconds of Kumbhaka. So try and realize doing Kumbhaka when you're doing pranayam, but pranayam or any breathing practices, no, please don't do that without the bandha. Bandha, pranayam, and Kumbhaka are a cycle that integrates with each other. If done correctly, they have very good benefits to the body and mind. So Keval Kumbhaka is again no breath, which comes automatically. There are practices, which artificially simulate the Keval Kumbhaka, but again, it's not a very natural Keval Kumbhaka. So with that, we'll go to the Dharana. We'll not spend much time on Dharana because, we are almost done. So we'll do about 5 minutes of Dharana. What I suggest is, it is easier for the beginners to consider something that is moving. So I consider doing it on the breath. So track your breath going in and then track it going out. So we'll do for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then once you're done with 2 to 3 minutes, comfortably lie down, and then we will do the shavasana. So I will set myself a timer uh, for 2 minutes. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and let it go in and out. If your mind is thinking something else, bring it back and make it think about the air going in and out. last time. Slowly go down and lay in Shavasana pose. Bring yourself back. Move your hands, legs a bit. Eyes closed. Turn to the side. Sit up. We'll do the Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina together. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Thank you. Thanks everyone. Everyone on the phone and my wife is here in person. So any feedback?
Dhanyawad Prabhaji, it was very nice.
Thank you, uncle. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Very nice session, Prabhaji.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day and a good weekend.
Thank
So we
you.
will meet on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.